Okay, so it seems that recently there's been a little bit of an update with Mythic talent. Now, this is a pretty interesting one because obviously this is a pretty big kind of talent agency in terms of VTubers, right? A lot of people obviously get it confused between a VTuber agency due to the amount of VTubers that they take on. Now, obviously, they take on many creators and many different VTubers as well, and that is what gets people confused, right? And recently, they've been involved in multiple situations, which of course has been a big topic in the VTubing space, including the Grimmi one, where obviously she claimed that they took a cut of money from that. Now, again, I don't have an update on you from that one, but again, I don't really know what has kind of happened since then. Of course, the kind of accusations came out, and then of course Mythic put out a response. She then put out a response in response, and I don't know, maybe they settled stuff behind the scenes, maybe they are talking behind the scenes, I don't know. But again, there's no update on that. But there was an update in terms of the other situation, which again is pertaining to some people who ended up getting kicked from Mythic Talent around about the same time, or leaving Mythic Talent around about the same time, which of course was pretty big. And it all tended to be like a certain like group of politically aligned people that all kind of got not kicked, but they just left, right? Or like some people, like for example, Kirsche, obviously a big VTuber as well, said that she had no idea what was going on at Mythic, but I guess we're also separating. So it seems like she, I guess got kicked or like kind of got like ghosted or whatever. I don't know. But obviously it's a little bit weird, especially for a talent company, right? And well, it seems there's been a slight update in that because, of course, one of the big reasons I think these people were kicked was due to the amount of pressure that, other people over on Twitter and other places like that were putting on them for having certain talents within their company, which obviously I think is wrong. I don't think any company should be forced into getting rid of talents just because some people don't like what they said about something, right? I think they should be able to help all the talents they want to, regardless of their beliefs or political opinions or whatever, right? And I think that is 100% the case. Now, yeah, obviously one big reason for this though, and why people were doing this was because on the website, if you go to it, obviously it says we make our creators, business, and content dreams a reality. And obviously it says, you want to learn more, then you can view the talent. And they had an entire page, which we've looked through in previous videos, if you guys want to go back and look through that, even with like category sorting for like VTubers and stuff like that, where essentially you could see pretty much, not every single, but most, kind of VTubers and most talent, sorry, not just VTubers, streamers, anybody that works with them, right? You could, sort through them, look through them, and see who they're working with. And obviously that is where some of the kind of controversy came from, because, they publicly show who they're working with, right? And that gives, people, people will look through that and they go, oh, I don't like this person. And then they'll make a tweet about it saying that they don't like Mythic Talent because they support X, Y, or Z person, right? And of course, that's a problem because nobody wants to be constantly pressured like this for getting rid of certain people from their talent agency because, I want to believe the best in them. Now, obviously, a lot of people do not like Mythic Talent at the moment, especially over the Grimmi stuff and, over the kirsche stuff. But it seems like maybe they made a positive change because if you actually click on the creators thing, and I think they haven't actually fully updated the website, and this is why this is a little bit kind of jank, because as you guys can see here, they've got a couple of creators here being Queso, Soda Popel, Extra Emily. I'm not sure who that is, but again, you got also shylily above. Sorry, Extra Emily was behind me. You got shylily just above there, obviously one of the biggest VTubers who is a part of Mythic Talent, right? And obviously, gets a lot of sponsors and stuff from them. And yeah, they still have shylily on the front of the website, but obviously if you go to the actual creators page of the website, well, you can't look at it anymore. You used to be able to look at it. You used to be able to, of course, like kind of be able to scroll through it and look through it as much as you want to. But now you have to request our roster, which obviously means you have to send in a request. You have to fill out a form below to request access. And obviously, you have to ask them, hey, can I see it, right? You can't, just look at it through a list anymore, which honestly, I think is a good thing. Now, of course, they have gotten rid of a lot of people from Mythic, and obviously that is terrible. But I do think this hopefully will end the kind of amount of pressure that they're getting for working with certain people, and instead can focus on working with whoever they want to without getting kind of harassed by it, because of course people are going to be looking through the creators list and see people like Kirsche, like Asmongold as well. Asmongold also left recently around about the same time Kirsche did. I think Nicholas Light also did as well. Those three people, right? People are going to see that, and then they're going to get angry, and then they're going to tell, Mythic Talent, be like, oh, you're going to get rid of this person. I don't like them for whatever reason. And then Mythic Talent, recently, obviously, people say that they, bended the knee, right? And of course, they did, and they, got rid of them. And of course, that doesn't create a very healthy kind of place, I don't think, in terms of creators, because, Mythic Talent was always regarded as one of these people who were great because they didn't care who the person was, what kind of opinions they held, what kind of, content they created, right? It doesn't matter, right? And of course, I think that's 100% the way it should go, right? But of course, some people from outside of Mythic Talent, of course, were not happy about that. And that's why it's all been kind of ruined lately for a lot of people that, were getting sponsors from them and stuff and actually having a good time with them. But now, it's kind of changed, right? And yeah, they've added in this roster kind of thing, request our roster system, which I think is good. But obviously, I think it's a little bit late now because obviously a lot of people have already left, right? But I guess it does protect a lot of the VTubers that are also in this list as well, including people like Shylily. Now, obviously, you can already see that Shylily is there, so it doesn't really protect her, I don't think. And I do think this is down to a website not being updated thing. Obviously, they thought, oh, okay, we'll just like add this here, but maybe forgot to do like the homepage because, of course, you can still see that these 5 talent still work. For Mythic, right? So I guess if anyone has a problem with any of these people, then of course they can also do that, right? And of course you keep on going as well because there is like news of people like signing, of Mythic signing people as well, right? So you can still see these people are a part of Mythic as well. And of course as well, if you go down to our talent, you can see there's actually a like 6 talent here as well, including Vebe and Annie. Who obviously are also VTubers at 5up. I don't think, is he fully a VTuber? I don't know. I haven't really kept up with his content. But again, those two are still featured on the main page, right? You can still see that they are part of the roster. But obviously, if you click Explore All Creators, it takes you to the page with Request Our Roster. So again, I think it's a little bit out of date. Maybe they need to update that, or maybe they just didn't care. That could also be the case. But it is definitely interesting, right? Because I think that, at the end of the day, it's a good move because it's clear that they have been getting a lot of heat. They have been getting a lot of what would you call it? Not threats, like kind of just a lot of just messages, angry messages about certain people being a part of their company, which of course, isn't great because, some companies are very easy just to go, oh yeah, okay, we're sorry, and get rid of them. But obviously, it seems like you now have to request to see the roster in general. Now, maybe is this a problem for the future? Maybe this could also present problems, right? Because I think that potentially, although they are protecting a lot of the talent, right, and protecting who is in it, right? Because of course now we don't know who's in it, but I think that also brings up an issue, right? Because of course we don't know who's in it, and we don't know who's left it. Right, which I think is also maybe a thing that could be the case too, because of course people have been saying like Kirsche, Asmongold leave and stuff like that. Now a lot of theirs has been through announcements. Obviously, this Kirsche post was the one that went pretty popular, right? But obviously, Asmongold also, they had a whole statement on the Mythic Talent page as well, saying like they've agreed to mutually part ways with Asmongold, right? But I do think that at the end of the day, it might mean that they can like kind of quietly let people go in the future, which I don't think is a good thing, because obviously a lot of people would actually kind of watch the roster page, right? They would watch it and see like, oh, this person in particular, let's just say, for example, Shylily, right? They'll be watching Shylily and then one day she disappears from the roster website, and then people will be like, oh, wait, she's left Mythic Talent, and then obviously it would start a whole thing, and then some people were like, oh, but no, she didn't leave it, and then, she'd say, oh, I didn't leave it, and then it just becomes a whole mess because you never really know, because sometimes they just randomly remove people even though they hadn't like officially left, which I thought was pretty weird. And they also kept certain creators off the website as well, in terms of like not even adding them to it, which of course created even more confusion, because you know, some people were on the website, some people weren't on the website. And again, it was very, very confusing. Whereas now I think they've just opted for nobody's on the website, apart from obviously the people on the homepage. And that's about it, right? But I do think it is very interesting, right? It's just a very interesting topic to kind of cover, because what does this mean for the future of Mythic talent? Does it mean that they're going to protect their talent more and actually not kind of adhere to the behavior that a lot of people have been sending their way recently, in terms of like kind of wanting people to get kicked out of Mythic or whatever? I don't know. Maybe they're actually putting their foot down on that, and that would be great if that was the case. But also, you know, a lot of people are not happy with them over the you know, recent people who have left, and also the Grimmi situation as well. But yeah, I mean, that is essentially all there is for this video. I just kind of want to keep you guys up to date, because again, I thought it was pretty interesting that, you know, this was something that was added, and it's just something that I kind of spotted when looking at the page. But yeah, that's what I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazo, get 10% off again. They've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. Oh my god. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.